as moving dots in the sky. There are now thousands of these on a nightly basis, whereas when I was a kid, there were hardly any, next to none. These are satellites.
GPS set up as a military system to deal with navigating smart weaponry. So they do need every square mile to be covered without possibility of outage.
Where those cell towers were in Desert Storm.
GPS works in the middle of the oceans.
I'm looking at Locata, and I'm trying to figure out, it seems like this is a system that you put up specifically to cover your application.
Yep. That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so
that's
navigation.
So that's one of these RTK-based, what do they call it, enhanced precision GPS systems, where you have a base station and rovers.
Yeah, it has absolutely nothing to do with the basic function of GPS.
When dealing with high precision GPS, you deal with two receivers, one stationary at a known position and one stationary at a secondary position, and you get a precise delta between the two. And the stationary one would be over a previously established mark, potentially, which can easily be accessed through cooperation or actually sending my own instrument to another location. Yeah, and then I get a delta between the two, and I chain all those together to get to Greenwich. But he did say earlier, I said, yeah, it doesn't cover every square mile. He goes, you don't have to. I said, but GPS is a military system. It has to cover every square mile because every square mile is subject to needing it.
It's used for international shipping.
It is
so every square mile is used.
It is used for search and rescue. It is used for everything. There are millions and millions and millions, and other countries don't want to be, subject to a U.S. military scenario. ESA has launched Galileo. Russia has GLONASS. China has Baidu. Right? Yeah, there are many satellites, and you can get commercial receivers that record all of them. So you're not dealing with 8 or 10 GPS satellites that are visible from your location. You can get a couple of dozen because you can record from the Russians. Oh, wait, the Russians have satellites just like GPS? Yeah, okay, yeah. They don't have their own locata. They don't have their own balloons. Balloons won't satisfy the equation. And if you look at the data as recorded and you look at the software and the firmware and the hardware, you'll find it cannot be anything but satellite data. My older equipment is pure satellite, dedicated receivers. Now you can have newer equipment, which is hybrid, which can record all kinds of things to come up with solutions when you're next to buildings, or solutions when you're in a building, or solutions when you're in a ravine, right? But if you have just pure GPS, yeah, you have to have a good visibility of the sky. So if you're in a ravine, you may only get 3 or 4 satellites, which still give you a position, but not that accurate. You get up high and autonomously, you can get a position for a few meters. And if you use them in pairs and record the data and post-process the data, you'll see that there is absolutely every measurement of Doppler shift, ranges to the satellites in the 22,000 kilometer range. And yeah, if you look into it, do your research. You want to research Locata? Research GPS. Build one. Look into its software. Look into its firmware. Own the equipment. Operate the equipment. Don't just like hand wave. Oh, I got Locata, and there was Loran, so they just made up they invented the word satellites because that doesn't really exist. But yeah, it's all ground based with a wink because yeah, we can do a much harder job of giving everybody the right answer through a tower array, which must be enormous. No. Or, there's an economy of just getting the whole globe covered with 30 satellites to a few meter autonomous accuracies. And if you become stationary and record the full phase data and go to post-processing, now you're into centimeter level measurement right out of the box. And now you're into plate tectonics. They have arrays of these things on little islands all through the Pacific, up and down the San Andreas, and they get all this feedback, and they process the entire globe like every 36 hours or 48 hours to look for tectonic shifts, to look for all kinds of things, as well as augment the navigation of military, with correction messages being sent down to get better than that 3 to 5 meter position. No, he has no experience. He has no equipment. He's never gone out there and made the measurement. He hasn't handled the equipment. He hasn't built the equipment. He hasn't looked into the software. He hasn't looked into the firmware. And he's never put his telescope at that location as prescribed in their ephemeris and seen the satellite show up in that telescope. And other people have.
Larry, the idea light. Oh,
No, he's done it.
I tried.
No, see, KIMO, you're missing the point. He's done it. Two of the people here have witnessed and done it themselves by hand and by GPS. And
KIMO, you're breaking up. And the funny part is you make just as much sense with half of your words as you do with all your words. But you're breaking up. You got only 3 syllables.
Ah, I see. That should be better. Okay, yeah. Gotcha. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say or get at is you're just repeating the lie. Okay? So what we've got to do is try and figure out if what we've been told is actually true. So, for example, if they say the Earth is 3959, then the physical geometric horizon should be no further than 1.2 miles. No further, okay? It can be closer because of atmospheric conditions and things like that, but no further than 1.22 miles.
Why not further? Wait, why not further?
Because the Earth, the geometry, the Earth cannot move further than its position.
Refraction goes both ways, dude.
Yes, but you can't have the horizon pushed back.
You see, that's where your stupidity is outshining anything you could possibly contribute.
Well, that's basically what the Black Swan is. It's asking ball earthers to explain how the physical obstruction. I'll get the image for you to help you. 1 second.
No, terrestrial photography. Terrestrial photography.
We don't need the image.
Yeah, 1
second. Terrestrial photography has already been shown to be ambiguous, so it's out.
We don't see the geometric horizon in the Black Swan.
You do realise, Larry, that Ranty was using this image as mountain drop. So, as I agree with you, these observations are ambiguous. Okay, which is why we have
not see the geometric horizon in your pictures.
Yes, we've got an obstruction of the platform.
We do not see the geometric horizon in your pictures.
Welcome to Flat Earth. We do not see the geometric horizon anywhere.
Welcome to the globe Earth. What we see over distance is at the whim of refraction. You cannot measure the geometric horizon optically over these distances.
Excellent. Cannot measure the geometry. Do you hear that, Larry?
Can explain why it
Larry,
appears.
are you listening? We cannot measure the geometric horizon. So, Larry, when you're outside measuring, you're measuring optical things.
Only apparent.
Well, Larry, I hope you heard
KIMO.
that. You cannot measure the geometric horizon. You're only measuring the light, which is fluctuating, Larry. You heard it first here from Bazaar.
Yeah. And if you recall, I totally acquiesced to that. That's why it's irrelevant. I never measured to the horizon because it serves no purpose, returns no useful information.
No, it does. It tells us that the obstruction of a mountain, a platform, the sun, a boat is
KIMO.
not physical.
KIMO.
Mhm.
KIMO. I put up my measurement, and you found no technical problem with it, except the gravity must be fake. So you have no contribution until you can find technical flaw in what I did.
Yeah, you based your measurements on the assumption that there will be deviation on the gravitational vector.
No, it's not deviation.
Well, there
It's
should
not
be.
deviation.
If it's
It's
two plumb
just the
boxes.
radial. They're radial to each other, to the center of the Earth.
Again, more presuppositions, which is what's making your argument very, very weak.
Again, you're making the presupposition that it's wrong because you have not made measurement, or you have not found technical flaw in mine.
No, what we're asking for is to show where anyone who has measured the geometric horizon, nobody has measured the geometric horizon. That's right. Every
So
time
what?
you go out there to try and make measurements, the horizon moves. So it's like you try to measure one place, like, oh, it's gone, it's another place. You try to make measurements to there, oh, it's gone, another place. So how can anyone measure the Earth if the horizon's constantly moving?
Because we don't use the horizon. The horizon is not input to the measurement.
Well, it's not, you're right, but once you've given us your calculations of 3959, we can then go out there and double, triple check that you're correct by seeking that geometric horizon, finding that physical drop, and therefore confirming your 3959 measurements. But what we do is the opposite.
Except by doing
I didn't mute you, Bazaar. I don't know who muted you.
Except you describing
Just so you know, it
going
wasn't
into
me.
Except you're describing trying to make confirmation by going into the high noise ambiguous environment.
Wow, like I said, Black Swan is very useful because, as Bazaar told us, geometric horizon cannot be measured. So therefore, if the geometric horizon cannot be measured, then therefore, okay, every obstruction you look at, Larry, is an illusion. You understand that?
Quick question for you, KIMO. What evidence do you have that the geometric horizon can be measured?
Well, I've just been told by Bazaar, which we already knew anyway. Bazaar said you would never measure the geometric horizon. You cannot measure the geometric horizon.
Perfect.
Larry has been putting
his...
crosshairs above the horizon, which is not a geometric one. So we're asking Larry, what's going on if you're not measuring geometry?
Wait, KIMO, pause really quick.
Okay.
So, Buzz said that. So what? What's your evidence? I don't care what Buzz said. I want your evidence that it can't be measured.
Well, we've got the surveyor right here, right? We've got the surveyor, got Bazaar. They've just both told us, okay, that the horizon fluctuates. We cannot measure to the geometric physical horizon. Therefore, welcome to Flat Earth, because it means you don't get the meaning, Larry. If the horizon's not physical or geometrical.
Larry and Buzz said such and such. What's your evidence that it can't be measured? You can't base your ideas off theirs because they believe in a globe. So what's your evidence that the geometric horizon cannot be measured?
Because no one has no one has ever seen the geometric horizon. Ever.
Show me your evidence of that.
Like what?
Of no one seeing the geometric horizon.
Yeah, everyone I've spoke to in this room, how many people? Over 30 peoples, they've never seen the geometric horizon.
Perfect. That's everybody else. I want your evidence that we can't see it. I could care less what everybody else says. I want your evidence.
Okay, good. I'll give you the picture right now. Check this out. So this is the image. then it's not physical. If you try to take a laser, draw a tangent, tape measure, force the line.
Wait a minute. You said it's not physical. Is water physical?
No. Try to understand. So the image on the left.
No, answer the question.
Water is physical. Yes, water is physical. Water is physical.
Are the platforms physical?
Platforms
yes
are physical.
Or no?
Yes.
Is water physical?
Yes.
Yes or no? So what's not physical?
Okay, so let me explain. If we were to draw a tangent point line to the horizon on the left, yes, and measure that line from the observer to the horizon, we would get a distance, right? Then, the next day, Chris, we make the same measurements. Now, our tangent point is a lot further than before. See?
How much? When you say further, how much further?
Over 10 miles further. Even 15 could be.
So that physical thing will get up and move 10 miles further backwards.
Yeah, so let's say we draw a tangent to the point on the left, right? And we've got now the crosshairs just above the image on the left. We leave the camera set up there. We're going to make calculations. We say that comports with the globe model. Then we leave it set up overnight. We come back the next day. Now the horizon is further back.
How much further is further? Is it 10 miles?
10 miles, more than 10 miles, 15, 20. So, in fact, we can't even put a number on it because we can't measure it because it's not physical.
So wait a minute. You just put a number on it. So if the thing's 10 miles away, you're telling me the next day it will appear to be 20 miles away, even though it's physically only 10 miles.
Right. So if you try to draw a tangent, so let's say we start with the image on the left. Let's say, for example,
you have for that?
Yeah. So every day it will give you a different distance, Chris. Every single, in fact, even within the day, morning, noon, and night.
KIMO, I'm pretty sure that every day, if you got on a boat and drove out there, it would be 10 miles. It wouldn't be any further or less. It would be the exact distance.
No.
It is every single day.
No.
Yes.
No. Even in the same day, you will have different distances.
Perfect. Every hour.
Not for the ball, it's not.
Wait. Pause. Let me finish statement. If you start on the dock, if you start on the shore and drive a boat to that the furthest away oil rig, and you do that every hour, every day of the year, the oil rig is going to be exactly the same distance away from your starting point every single day.
Every single day. That's right, Chris. That's correct.
Every single day it will be 9 point whatever miles it is away.
Yeah,
or 10
absolutely.
miles or whatever it is.
Agreed.
It's not going to physically get up and move and change.
That's right, Chris.
So you're agreeing that every day the oil rig stays in the exact same location, doesn't move.
You're being called a weak glober, Chris. Are you a weak glober?
I don't really care what I'm being called, KIMO.
All right, Chris, continue. So we measure the platforms. It's the same every day. Let's say 9.6 miles. Every day it's 9.6 miles.
Every hour, every minute of the year.
Every minute, every day is 9.6 miles.
Exactly the same distance away from your starting point on the beach.
Yeah, 9.6 every single time.
So, but earlier you just said they look like they're 20 miles away or 10 miles away, but physically they are in the exact same place.
Right.
They have not moved.
No, not the platforms, Chris. The platforms will always be 9.6 miles away, yeah?
And different portions of them, different times of the day, different days of the year will appear to be less shown of them or more shown of them. What's your point?
My point is, you see the image on the left?
Perfect, sure.
There is water in front of the legs of the tower. What you call water.
Behind it too.
No, the image on the left. Let me post it again for you so you can see. This one here.
Guess what, KIMO? I would like to point out that there's water behind and in front, because
But-
the ocean is big.
But we can't see the legs of the image on the left. Yes?
Perfect. Sure, whatever.
We can't see the legs of the image on the left. Do you agree?
Perfect, whatever. I don't care. Let's talk about
Well,
the
you
water.
did care. You said that's physical water.
It is physical water, and
Right.
it's
So
physical.
that physical
it's a
water,
physical
where did
fact.
it go on the image on the right?
The
where is
water
it?
is still there.
Yeah, but I've answered all your questions, Chris. Now you're not being fair. You're not being fair.
And I answered
Now
your
I
question.
said, you said,
The
I
water
said, you said
in
there was
both
water in
images
front
are-
of those legs. Now on the right, where
Where?
is that water in front of those legs?
Let me be very, very clear.
Okay.
The oil rig is in the ocean. There is water in front of the oil rig,
Mhm.
and there is water in back of the oil rig.
Yeah. But there was
Because the
also
ocean is
water obstructing the legs, but not
Now-
obstructing the legs on the right.
Because of refraction,
Mhm.
different days,
Mhm.
and even same day during different periods of the day, the water will appear to be either higher or lower.
Yeah, that's right, Chris. The water would appear to be higher or
Be-
lower. That's right. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Because of refraction,
Not
that
physically,
will occur,
though, right?
the bending of light. But the water is still the same general level all day long.
But the water on the image on the left is not physical. We agree now, yes?
No, we don't, because
But
water
where is it on the
physical. You're
right?
changing your mind.
Let's go back here 5 years, okay? Let's say, just look at the image on the left. In order to see those legs beyond the curvature, what should we do?
If we see the legs beyond the curvature, what does that mean? I don't even
No,
know.
no,
what
no.
you
I'm
mean.
saying, let's say we are 10 miles away from the platforms. Those platforms have been
Mhm.
obstructed. Yes?
The bending
So
of
we
light
can't see the
is
bottom of those
causing
platforms.
the
What do
water
we need to do?
appear to be
What do we-
higher than it is.
We need to go higher, right?
Mhm. The bending of light is causing the water to appear higher on the legs than the water actually is.
So we're standing at this spot. We see the obstruction. In order to see the legs
Mhm.
again, we need to go higher, right?
On the same day at the same point in time, yes.
Yeah, at the same day, the same point in time, the legs are obstructed. To see them, we must go higher, right?
True.
Excellent, Chris. Excellent. Now, let's say we were standing looking at the left picture and we happened to see the legs rise up beyond that horizon line. Then we would say the towers are refracting over the horizon, yeah?
The towers, there's no towers.
The platform
Let's talk
tower.
about the leg. Okay, so say like I wanted to see 4 more feet of the legs.
Yeah. Over that
that
curvature on the
appear to
left,
be
yeah?
obstructed at a certain height. What height would I need to get to see 4 more feet of that leg?
You're probably distracted by the other picture. Let's just look at this as a standalone image.
No, I'm talking about the left picture.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Look, there it is
talking
as a
about the left
standalone
picture.
image, right? Standalone image. In the olden days, we would say you cannot zoom in to see those legs, right? No matter how much you zoom in.
Perfect, but we talked about getting higher.
Yeah, but I'm
talked
saying we don't have to go higher because of the black swan. So you remember the olden days? Look at that image.
But
You would say to us, you would
I am
never be able
saying-
to zoom in and show us the bottom of those legs, right?
KIMO,
Yeah.
if I got high enough,
Mhm.
how high would I need to get to see 4 more feet of those legs? What
Look,
is the height I need to
It doesn't
do
matter
to
about
get
how
that
much.
high?
I'm just saying, what do I have to do to
Did
see
you-
more of
well,
those
you
legs?
asked about the height. You asked about the height, so I'm talking about the height.
The
What
height
height
only
would I need
matters,
to get
Chris,
to?
if we're using geometry. Yeah, because it means the height would be I can see to the physical geometric horizon, and in order to see more, I'd
No,
have
we're
to go
talking about
higher.
the legs.
What?
How high would I? Yes, we need to get higher to see more. So to see more of the leg, well, let's say like 4 feet more of the leg, how much higher would I need to get?
Well, are you using geometry then, yeah?
I'm just using your words.
No, I'm
You need to
using
get
your
higher to see
geometry
more.
here. I'm trying to figure out
No,
if the height of the observer is relevant. Yeah?
KIMO, you just said to see more of it, you need to get higher. So I'm being more specific.
No, I'm asking if
I
that's
want to see
true or not,
4,
Chris. Is that true?
well, I'm just agreeing with what you said.
It was a question. In order to see those legs, do I need to go higher?
Well, I mean, before that you said
Mhm.
to see more of those legs, you need to get higher.
That
So
was the
I'm
question,
asking you
yeah.
a
Have a look
question.
again. Those legs were obstructed.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the bottom of those
much?
legs at the same position that I'm at now. Will I be able to
Mm-hmm.
zoom in and see the bottom of those legs?
KIMO.
Mhm.
At the same zoom, the same focal length,
Mhm.
what height do I need to get to see 4 more feet of those legs?
Does height matter though, Chris? That's what I'm asking you. That's the very point of this saying. What was the old? What was the old rhetoric? If something's obstructed, do we need to go higher? I'm asking you. Do we need to go higher to see something obstructed, or can we stay in the same place, zoom in, and then see what was hidden?
Hey, KIMO.
Mhm.
Let me put it to you this way. If I walk out my front door, I can only see the houses across the street. But if I get, let's say, 10 feet above the height of the houses on the other side, I can see over to the next block.
Hmm?
Okay, so height does matter. So I'm asking you a direct question.
Height does matter. Why?
Height,
Why when we're looking at the horizon does height matter?
we're not. I'm talking about the oil rigs and the legs.
And the obstruction where the
Specifically.
horizon is.
I'll be back in a moment, guys.
Another one bites the dust. This is the power, ladies and gentlemen, of the black swan. Okay, it's very difficult to navigate and swim around and try to make, valid arguments, because does height matter? That's the point here. Now, Chris knows with the black swan, height does not matter one bit, because the old argument was once something has gone over the physical geometric horizon, yes, it cannot be brought back by zooming in. But we know now today that the obstruction is not physical. So you could just set your camera up where the platforms are obstructed. Okay, just leave your camera running. Okay, what was obstructed today will be revealed tomorrow or later on in the evening. Okay, depending on the atmospheric condition. No need to go higher. In the old world, you would go higher or go closer. That is no more. No need to go higher. What's the point? What the height today is irrelevant when it comes to things over the horizon. And Chris recognized that early on. And he realized that if he says, yes, should go higher, yes, cannot zoom in, that used to be a big argument on the globe side, ladies and gentlemen, that they would say, oh, once something's gone over the horizon, you will never ever bring it back. Well, today, because of the black swan, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, that argument is null and void. Because
It's not. I'm listening to KIMO. Goodbye.
catch you later. Another one bites the dust. So, as we see, these questions are absolutely important. There's no need to change the record. No need to fix. No need to break what is already. No need to fix what is. Expression anyway, what we say. No need to change what's already working. It's working. No need to try and.
KIMO.
Oh, you're back.
I never
back.
really
Welcome
left.
back, Chris.
I had to go help my dad do something. I'm back. So I just gave you evidence that if I was trying to look at houses on the other side of the block, that if I got higher in the air, I could see those houses. the houses in front of me would not be obstructing like they are. Now, the oil rigs. How would we figure out how high we would need to get to see 4 more feet of those oil rigs'
We need the
legs?
radius of the Earth.
Why would we need
KIMO,
that?
can I tell him what it's about also? It's about distance. We have a distance. So it's not about the refraction or something like that. We know how far the oil rigs is, and we know the formula, the calculating formula for the curvature. And if you are 1 foot away from the surface you are standing on, then we have a math. It's a simple math. It's just a math. You can figure out.
If the math is
It's not about the refraction, because we know how far the oil rigs is. It's about math. It's not about refraction. It's just a very
simple. Tell me how much higher you would need to be to see 4 more feet of those legs of the
You
oil
need
rigs.
the geometry of the Earth. What's the radius, Chris? How are you supposed to figure it out if you don't know the radius to the horizon, where the horizon is, where the drop is? If you're 1 foot, Chris, and the Earth should drop away at 1.22 miles, how can we figure these things out if it's not there? And as Bazar said, you will never ever measure the physical geometric horizon.
Emo, let me ask a clarifying question. And I'm not sure if you believe what you just said, but you said the Earth drops away at 1.22 miles.
For the 1 foot observer.
How much is that drop? How much is that drop?
It depends on the size of the Earth, Chris.
The size of the Earth is 12. How big is the drop?
Who measured that, Chris?
No, I'm just throwing a number. I just want to see.
Yeah, but let's not
deal
deal in hypotheticals. Let's deal with reality.
I just want to see if you understand what you're actually saying, which I don't think you do.
Well, that's why we're asking questions, Chris, about what the radius is. How did you get it? How did you calculate it? All those things.
Let's say the radius is 12.
Who figured that out?
Okay?
How did they come up with 12?
But the radius is 6,371 kilometers, they say.
Okay, I'll take John's word for it. The radius is the amount he just said.
Why would you believe that, Chris, without validating
kilometers?
Because I want this discussion to move on, KIMO.
Yeah, but we have to know what we're talking about in the real world, right?
If John's radius is the true radius of the Earth, then
it isn't. It isn't.
How high would I have to...
4 feet.
Prove it. It's broken. It's not true.
Chris, that's like saying if the
4 feet.
Is saying it's not true.
Feet.
But you think it is. If you believe in a globe, then it is 6,371 kilometers.
So the answer would be 4 feet.
No, that's not the answer. I'm asking KIMO. I'm asking how high would I have to get to see 4 more feet of that leg with the same focal length and zoom? You think I'd only need to get 4 feet higher?
Oh, that's what I would say. How high do you have to go?
I'm not sure exactly the complete altitude or the complete height of the observer. So say like that's 10 feet. You're saying all we need to do is move up to 14 feet and we could see 4 more feet of the legs? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'd say.
Why do you say that?
You want to see 4 more feet, get 4 feet higher. Pretty simple.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Like I can stand on the top of my house and not see the houses in the next neighborhood. But if I get...
You asked about the legs. You asked about these legs of these towers.
Yes, I understand that, KIMO.
But why is it not 4 more feet?
I never said it was or wasn't. I'm just asking why is it 4 more feet? Because
according to the radius, according to the distance to the horizon, That's how high you would have to go.
You have to understand, you have a geometric horizon if you are living on a ball earth. Then you have to understand if you are in 1 foot away from the surface, you can calculate it. If the calculating is not fitting the fantasy of the ball earth, then something is wrong. I mean, in the reality, it's not fitting. We are showing it, and the radius of your fantasy is broken.
Well, you can get higher off of the flat plane, but things are still going to smush and smash together and become very quickly highly unresolvable. So you can get higher and there won't be any obstruction, but you still can't make out an image on the object because it's just too far away and too smashed into the surface.
Okay, Lemon, he's avoiding the point here, Chris is. The old argument was, see those legs, we'd need to go higher. Now he's being silly by saying, how much higher, how much higher? So what I'm saying here is that today's argument
I'm asking you how
see
much
those
higher
legs,
you need to get.
we do not need to go higher anymore.
Yeah, if you go higher, the apparent horizon will go with your eye height. We go out. It will never bending down, and that is for sure.
You know,
everything always rises to eye level, dude. If we're on a ball, it has to drop down and away from you. Why does everything rise to eye level and there's no physical?
WITSIT. Good timing.
What's up?
These guys are struggling. We've got an actual surveyor here, WITSIT, right? A real guy, real dude who reckons he's measured real curvature. I've been breaking it down for him that he's not measured. This is Larry. Larry meet WITSIT, WITSIT Larry. Just trying to explain how he's not measuring the curvature. So he knows a little bit more, WITSIT does, Larry, about surveying. So do you want to get into it with WITSIT?
Come on, WITSIT.
I think we need some new optical theory. I think our theories, what we think is occurring, is a little off.
Well, what kind of surveying does this guy do, though?
I'm trying to find the video he posted. I'll get you his link. So he's took out a theodolite and all this stuff, and he's made real-world measurements. I gave him measurements, and they deny it. But let me get that up for you right now.
Okay, so do you do geodetic surveying?
Can I point out that all of this instrument is not done for so
I got it right here.
Long distance.
I don't think Larry GPS is in here. Are you talking about Larry GPS?
Yeah, Larry's here. He's just run off. Oh my god. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites. So this is his video. This is Larry's video that he just posted anyway previously, and said he measured curvature with this. But it's getting worse for the Globers. I mean,
well, the idea is that there's a ray of light going straight to the camera that's only going to be blocked by a hump of Earth curvature. But I want to challenge even that conception, because I think that there's going to be crushing on all sides of the image, and more crushing from top, left, and right, and very limited crushing from the bottom up. So if you're 6 feet off of the ground, you're only going to get 6 foot of crushing. And that will max out from the bottom up into the image about 3 to 6 miles away. But crushing will continue to happen from the other sides of the image, top, left, and right. I think this continued crushing versus the limited crushing from the ground is being interpreted by Globers in error as a curve downward. So when you're looking at this theodolite, you're looking at a zone that is actually higher. That is appears to be level with the camera because of this uneven crushing, and that's why the theodolite has an image that is dropped below the horizon.
Crushing.
Larry's back now. He didn't run away. He's back here. So Larry, WITSIT asking you what kind of surveying is it? Well, it's not
geodetic.
Yeah.
Is it geodetic survey?
You just went on a big rant about how we don't listen, we don't understand. Well, let's listen. We're trying to understand.
I will understand what Lemonbot was talking about crushing. So if he can explain it.
Yeah, these people are very competent, but I find that their theoretical notions are a little weak. I don't think that they're ready to think about these subjects in new terms. I think we got to look at this from the this perspective crushing phenomenon as what's responsible for you looking through a theodolite and sighting to a higher zone. Because of all of this crushing that has effectively made the optical information that actually is level with the theodolite lost and crushed into the image.
So I'm not sure what you're meaning. Maybe it's my language barrier or something. But are you meaning that crushing is there is some barrier in the distance, or why are you using this word?
Well, I use that to show how the image appears to go down toward a certain plane. You're 6 feet off of the flat plane, so the image will mostly appear to go down toward that plane at the level of the eyes. But also there's crushing happening on all sides of the image, where the left side of the image is coming in, the right side of the image is coming in, the top part's coming in, and the bottom the top part's coming down and the bottom part's coming up.
Yeah, okay.
But that's the only.
It's crushing together a different material and conjunction and everything is happening in the distance that make this crushing you're talking about.
Yeah, like compression. But hey, what I want to know is can this guy answer the question? Do you do geodetic surveying?
Larry, why are you being so shy for? Come on.
Okay, well, geodetic surveying doesn't do anything but utilize plane survey data, compiles it over vast distances, and then takes an optical effect and an average within, and then makes a presupposition of sphericity, and then assumes that the actual terra firma is bending convexly, and then reifies your belief. And you have to throw out majority of the observations that don't actually remain consistent with your assumption. It's a joke, and we get into the specifics of it, but, I mean, I've debated a geodetic surveyor, and he had to admit that they get observations that are inconsistent with their R value assumption. They have to throw them out, and that is purely apparent and nothing actual. And of course, as I walked in on this conversation, they were breaking down to you that if the Earth's a ball with a radius of 3959, there has to be a literal physical obstruction. So it's not apparent, it's actual. There has to be an actual physical obstruction of Earth curvature, but it's never there. So for everyone in the room that thinks flat earthers are stupid, if the surface of the Earth isn't curving anywhere, what is it?
But it is curved.
It's flat.
Exactly.
Flat Earth has to be so stupid because anyone that could be as arrogant as you have just been could only be stupid.
Wow, way to really bring some substance to the conversation there, Jim.
You gotta be bold. You gotta be brave.
Oh, we
Some
got
of these paper pushers are nice, but they have no theory.
You're here telling a guy who has a career professional, that you're telling him how he does his job and how wrong it is.
No, I'm asking him.
You have never done anything even approaching a survey of anything.
Okay, but
you're arrogantly proclaiming that you know how it's done, and not only that, the people who actually do it aren't doing it right.
Dude, you're already.
an arrogant fuck.
Okay, you're already spiraling, Jim. Shut up, dude.
Really ignorant could be this arrogant.
Are you done spiraling? Okay, so what actually happened was I asked him to tell me. Right? So I didn't strawman him at all. I actually said, well, what kind of surveying do you do? Let's talk about
You
it.
haven't had any interaction with him at all. He hasn't spoken.
That's my point. So don't act like I'm trying to strawman him or tell him what he does is wrong. I gave.
Don't start talking as if you've had a conversation with him.
Wow, dude. Well, actually, I didn't. I said I've had a conversation with a geodetic surveyor.
But look, this is the image.
So look at you having to lie and strawman and twist. What a shocker.
This is his video. So he uses equipment like this. And this is how he's measured the curvature with this tool. So this morning...
Okay, how far... Hold on, before we get too far off the strawmanning, you misunderstood what I said. You were talking right then as if you had had a conversation with him.
Can you just leave?
But he isn't even here.
Go on mute. No one cares. All you do is scream.
Yeah, apparently you don't care because he said he's got to go somewhere, and you're talking to him like he's here.
I didn't know that.
Larry's here. He came back.
Yeah, so you just make stuff up again. All you do, you guys always put words in my mouth. You lie about my intentions. You interrupt.
Any more than seeing his avatar in the hangout.
All you do is interrupt, Jim. Like every single time that a flat earther goes to speak, you scream, spiral, interrupt. So can you calm down? Be an adult.
Much shit.
Well, the thing is, this isn't about being arrogant, Jim. He is a career person who knows what he's doing. We're not questioning his ability to do his job. We're questioning the theory by which it is assumed that light is coming straight to the theodolite, and therefore something dropping below the horizon is going beyond an Earth curve. We need new theory to grapple with this over a flat plane, and I don't think that we have that right now. That's why I call them paper pushers, because they do their job. They do their job competently, but I don't know if they wonder about the theory behind their job at all. That's paper pushing.
Exactly. It's just like astrophysics professors. Like, we're not disputing that the astrophysics professor actually knows about the astrophysics theoretical conceptions that they believe in. We're questioning the theories. We're questioning the foundation of the profession. That's what we're doing.
Gravy. What's it? You mentioned that
and Jim, like you said.
Hey, I know. Answer your questions. I'm not going to sit here and get spam with random questions until someone actually addresses what we're talking about.
You stated
right, and so sometimes we get in paper pusher mode where we competently do our jobs, yes, but don't really question the theory behind it, especially why we appear to have a flat surface, but some part of the image that appears to be cut off and dropping down and away from the theodolite. That's what I was trying to cover.
Yeah, this other guy's jumping in trying to ask random questions.
It's not a random question.
I have whoever it is muted. Who's speaking?
Who the hell do you think sounds like this, Lemon?
I don't know. We don't keep up with you. What's your name?
Bearded. I see him. It's Bearded.
Hi.
Yeah, what's your question?
You said that there was an optical phenomenon, apparently. What is that phenomenon?
Okay, so what you do is you look out over vast distances, right? And whatever you're looking at over those distances, it changes its apparent location from day to day and throughout the day. And you take each measurement, quote unquote, right? And then you get a window and you come up with an average. That's just an apparent location. The globe Earth is supposed to have an actual physical location.
I didn't ask that. I asked, what was the phenomenon? You just gave me a whole lot of words that wasn't that. So what is it? What's it?
Okay, let me say it again for you, okay? So when you look out, you're going to see a change in the apparent location. The phenomena is the optical effect of apparent deviation or change, okay? So it's an apparent location, but the globe Earth claims an actual location. So try again.
Yeah, I don't care about the globe Earth thing. This is you're making this statement as if the Earth's flat and the surveyors are getting it all wrong because there's this effect happening. So what's the effect?
I've said it 3 times already. It's the apparent change in the location, you moron. I wonder why Austin loses his cool in here. I can't imagine.
You're saying that there is an effect. What is that effect?
The apparent change in location. Write it down.
Which is
the location apparently changes.
Dude, you're just describing action. What is it?
You're a loser, dude. So whenever we look over, no, you're trying to actually act like I didn't already answer it because all you can do is cycle remedial dumb shit. Hey, what I said was that when you look out over the distances, right, and you're looking at a location, it's an apparent location and it constantly moves. It's not the actual location. So then you take an average of that apparent location and then you try to figure out what the radius value is. That's what you're doing. You're trying to
phenomenon, I guess.
Refraction.
Refraction. Okay, what refraction is causing that? What you're just saying refraction?
Well, there's a variance of effects within refraction. That's an overall, such as sinking, looming, stooping. It doesn't really matter.
You're giving me labels. What's causing this shit?
You'd have to actually invoke something of specificity.
Hold on. Okay, here's the specificity. What atmospheric effect causes objects in the distance to go below the flat surface?
Okay, so
diffraction limit.
Yeah, exactly. You have to account for two things. 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 You have to always account for the angular size change with distance. So when you look out in the distance and something, why are you interrupting me again? Why are you interrupting so much every single time? If I'm so stupid and I can't answer your question and you're such a home run hitter, you wouldn't have to interrupt me every single time that I talk because you know I'm going to thoroughly dismantle and disintegrate your bullshit. So the truth is that you have to account for angular size change with distance anytime you look into the distance because things optically change size relative to the distance away from you. In addition to that, we also have something called refraction. If you do not account for both of these that are objectively there, you can make no claim whatsoever about it because you're not accounting for the variables we know for a factor there. So yeah, angular size change with distance and refractive effects changes the apparent location of something in the distance. It constantly fluctuates. According to the geodetic surveyors themselves that do this, claiming they're measuring a ball, they admit that it constantly changes. And then they take an average. Okay?
Okay, so what distance is this? Because I can walk out my front door and there's
Hold
a
on,
house
Lale. Hold on, Lale, real quick.
500 feet away from me,
Lale,
and I walk to that house every single day, and it's always going to be 500 feet away.
All right, I got stuff to do today. It's not running circles with remedial.
Are you gonna sit still for 5 seconds? No, I got muted while you were in on your little tirade, you little fucker.
Because you wouldn't let me finish it.
Nah, bitch. Here, pay attention.
Who are you talking to like that? You would never talk to me like that in real life, though.
I would rip you a new asshole in front of your
sodomite. What a sodomite. In front of a girlfriend, something you don't have, and you're talking about ripping assholes? Like,
dude,
what is wrong with you, dude?
5 kids. Go fuck
okay. Thoroughly smite you. He would send you back to the...
Now, hold up. Here it is. You said angular size change over distance. That's fucking perspective, numbskull. Don't give a shit. You said refraction.
I said there's two...
refraction.
Okay, I said there's actually...
The magic fucking perspective. Taking perspective...
You're so lost.
Refraction causes objects to dip below the flat surface. Let's hear it, motherfucker. Identify it.
You can't limit when you look out to the distance and you're going to account for what you're seeing. You have to account for angular size change with distance and refraction. Both of them. Stop straw manning me, trying to isolate one of them. You moron.
Refraction. Don't repeat.
You're dumb. You're actually dumb.
I'll repeat it for you.
See, that's why I don't come in here because I can't help but be toxic, right? Because to give my honest recollection of who you are and how you behave, it's to say that you're dumb. That's my honest opinion.
Behave.
So I've said it. I've said it 5 times now. You have to account for angular. No, I don't have to. No, because you're trying to straw man and isolate one of the phenomena without accounting for the other.
By asking you a question, asshole.
Yeah, you're trying to ignore my answer. Trying to ignore my answer where I said that there was 2 variables. You have to account for the angular
variables.
You have to account for both of them. No, you have to account for both of them, though.
What? Refraction causes objects to dip below the flat surface. Pay attention to the words. I said refraction.
Dip below? How do you know something's below the flat surface?
You tell me.
You don't, you moron. You just assume it because you don't see it. You assume that it's dipping below Earth.
You assume it because the object preserves its size when it's cut off. That is speculative.
And to be honest,
you can't see through the ground. You need to challenge that assumption.
You're avoiding the fucking
question.
But
Bearded, you're not even
avoiding the theory that you go off of, and you're not allowing your theory to be questioned. You're assuming that it's going below Earth curve because it preserves its size. That assumption may be woefully off.
Lemon, name one time in the couple of years you and I've had exchanges?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have I defended the globe?
You try to keep your viewpoints concealed in a fog.
Every single time that you talk. Every single time.
So unfortunately, we're going to need to look into this theory that you believe.
Hold on, hold on a second. Because Dragon, you're just bringing this down. Hold on a second.
You're talking shit. You never can say the reality.
All right, hold on. So, Witsit, before you do dip off. So, I've got this equation from Larry. This is the data. He's a bit shy today. I don't know why. But this data here, he says, proves that the Earth is curving. Have you seen this thing I've just posted? This is the measure. These are the results. Larry, if I get anything wrong, then you'd have to come and explain it. But basically, he's got the theodolite. He's looked over a distance. He's seen elevation drop. And he concludes curvature. I don't know if that's what that's basically what he's saying. Have a look. He's just posted that himself. Say, look.
Looks like it's over 17 kilometers. We should get 0.08 meters per kilometer squared of curvature.
Larry's here now. Larry's here. Larry, do you want to explain it?
Yeah, come on, Larry.
Yeah, direct measure of the fact that plumb bobs do not hang parallel. They hang
Right, okay.
26 arc seconds different per mile.
Gotcha. So we're looking at a plumb line over 17 kilometers. And does the apparent location of this change? That took a
No.
long time. Yeah, it does,
No,
actually,
no,
objectively.
I'm trying to figure what question you really meant to ask.
All right, let me repeat it for you. So whenever you look at this plumb line over 17 kilometers away, does its apparent location change, or does it stay exactly the same the whole time forever? It changes objectively.
Okay, due to refraction over time, yeah, a few arc seconds up or down.
Okay, so can you make an actual claim? Because what you're claiming is that this is actually tilted back away from you, right? Because it's on a curved surface, but it constantly changes. So how do you know where it's actually at if it's constant?
Because I only apply a range of plus or minus a few arc seconds. Given the fact that it's over 8 arc minutes, give or take a very tiny percentage, that's a long fucking way from flat, long fucking way from plumb bobs hang parallel.
Wrong. So if you have it, what you do when you establish plumb line is you drop a vertical line, assuming a perpendicular plane underneath it, and then you're saying, well, since the Earth's a ball, down's actually relative to the center of mass, so it's not 90 degrees relative to one another, and so it's tilted backwards. So exactly how much below 90 degrees is this? What's the number?
26 arc seconds?
No. In degrees.
22 arc seconds.
No.
Is a fraction of a degree.
I thought you did this for a profession, bud. Hey, if it's supposed to be 90 degrees.
Arc second is
Hold on a second, Jake. Hold on. Don't interrupt.
Degree has 60 minutes in it.
Lemon, let the expert, because the expert takes. Hold on, let me just explain something. Larry takes a second.
Per degree.
Lemon.
So you take 1 degree, divide it by 60, divide that by 60. That gives you an arc second.
Yeah, no, I know. But I want him to answer the question.
With some brains.
No, I already know that, but he needs to answer the question. He's saying it's not 90 degrees, so how far off from 90 degrees is it? It's 89 point something. You can't answer it because you know it's going to dismantle you.
No, he takes a second to answer. Austin, he takes a second to answer, so he thinks about it. He takes one or two.
He said something about arc seconds. That would be like 0.0002 degrees. When you take 1 divided by 60 divided by 60 for 1 arc second, anyway.
Right.
So how many arc seconds did you say?
22.
Okay, so that times 22. Let me see. Hold on.
So it's barely off of 90 degrees. Now here's the deal. Whenever you're on a flat Earth, which we all are, and you're just in denial of, and you drop the 90-degree vertical plumb, assuming a perpendicular plane underneath it, right? That would be exactly 90 degrees. Then you go 17 kilometers away, you look through the entire atmosphere, you have angular size change of distance, which is effectively a compression because it looks smaller than it actually is, and you're actually looking through refractive effects. It moves back and forth a lot. So you would never expect it to look like exactly 90 degrees on a flat Earth. We wouldn't expect that. It would never, ever be exactly 90 degrees, 17 kilometers away on a flat Earth, because you're looking through the atmosphere. So it would never be like that on a flat Earth. And you're strawmanning a flat Earth, saying that it would have to be exactly 90 degrees. And since it isn't, that means it's on a ball Earth, when the truth is, it would have to be at an actual tilt away from you. But you've admitted that it's just an apparent location, that it moves constantly, and that you can't even tell, and it's a small, little, minute change because of atmospheric refraction.
All right. So Larry, why is Austin wrong here? Why is he wrong?
Someone's going to have to show me their measurements and find technical flaw with mine.
No, I'm asking about.
I just found your flaw.
I'm asking
your measurements will be technically perfect. The thing is, the diffraction limit will eat up information even over a flat plane, and we're not going to get perfect 90-degree angles.
Exactly. And are you basing that on your own measurement?
No, we're basing this on your measurement.
Theory. Off of theory.
Right, hold on a second, guys. Whoa, come on. Look, Austin Lemons, wait, so Larry, what you heard from Austin here, is there anything wrong that he said?
No, the question was anything right.
Okay, so what was wrong about what he said, so we can break it down?
I didn't take good enough notes to cite him specifically.
Austin, you have to go again, but a little bit slower, point by point, so Larry can tell you where you're wrong if you are wrong. We know you're not wrong, but we want to see where he sees you are wrong. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what he's inadvertently saying is that if the Earth was flat, they would be perfectly 90 degrees, but that when we observe it over 17 kilometers away, they aren't perfectly 90 degrees. The other plumb line isn't 90 degrees. But on a flat Earth, you wouldn't actually expect it to be exactly 90 degrees because you're looking through 17 kilometers of atmosphere and it will change it. And that's why it constantly moves. He admitted that it constantly moves. So it isn't an actual location, it's an apparent location that constantly moves. And so what I'm saying is it's a very small, minute change due to the atmospheric conditions, like we would expect to see on a flat Earth. And you have to assume the Earth's a ball, and then you have to take an average. And if there's something that one time, whenever the atmosphere isn't cooperative and it shows that it would be way too far away from 90, you throw that out because that would make the radius value too big. You pick and choose with a weighted mean, right? And then it constantly fluctuates, but that's what's expected. So very simply, it's very simple. It's an apparent location that constantly changes, but you're claiming it's an actual location of the plumb line tilted back on a ball. But then you say and admit that it's actually just apparent and that it changes.
Well,
so it can't be.
Let's find out what he says. Larry, is Austin here wrong? Where is he wrong? Why and what?
He's totally exaggerating the effects of refraction and the effects of, and the data in this measurement, because refraction does vary a small percentage, percentage, nowhere near flat and nowhere near the refraction, which you cannot be defined on flat. Now, and I yield to Jeremy because Jeremy brought forward Andrew Thomas Young, and that was a very good find because he very specifically quotes the effects of refraction, which is within a range. And I'm not I'm not contrasting winter and summer measurements. To get a consistent refraction, measure in consistent environments.
Andrew Thomas Young assumes
in that graphic, the measurement from up to down and down to up was measured simultaneously on the same day within minutes of each other.
Okay, that's not simultaneous, but Andrew Thomas Young assumes a globe Earth. So watch, I'll show how dishonest you are. So if the Earth was flat and we had 90 degrees, right, a plumb line 90 degrees, whenever we looked over 17 kilometers, would we expect it to still be exactly 90 degrees through 17 kilometers of atmosphere?
I have no idea. Because the Earth isn't flat. There's no metadata. There's no measurement data to support that. So I don't know.
Okay, so the answer is objectively no, we wouldn't expect it because you're looking through the atmosphere. And so if it was exactly 9 degrees, that's going to change relative to how far away from it you are and how much atmospheric conditions are at play. It would never be exactly 9 degrees if the Earth was flat. Well, what a coincidence. That's what we see. It isn't exactly 9 degrees. We don't expect it to be. There's a very slight fluctuation from 9 degrees, though. It's damn near 9 degrees. And your problem is that you're just assuming that apparent fluctuation is actual. You have two problems here. One, the flat Earth would not say that it'd be exactly 9 degrees over 17 kilometers away. It objectively wouldn't be. And your other problem is that you're taking a fluctuation of the apparent location as it changes, and now you're trying to say that that's an actual tilt backwards on a ball. But it's not actual. It's apparent.
Would love to hear after this what your method of measurement is then, Witsit, since you're constantly claiming that the Earth is measurably flat, and yet you seem to be saying there isn't any way of making an accurate measurement here. But anyway,
well, the way that
we can start with first principles. South Pole exists. Shape is defined. We're done.
Okay, you guys can't answer, so I'm just going to have to leave. So you can't answer the basic questions. This should be very eye-opening to the audience. You're claiming an actual location of it tilting backwards on a ball, but then you, under your own admission, said that it's actually just apparent and it constantly fluctuates. It can't be apparent and actual at the same time. On a flat Earth, we would not expect to see exactly 9 degrees. How do I measure the Earth? Well, what we do is we use plane survey data of very small increments from different angles, and we try to ensure accuracy this way. Whenever you include it all the way up to 17 kilometers, you increase the effect of refraction. That would actually drastically change what you see, which is what we see. And his own data would show you that it constantly changes. I debated the geodetic surveyor live.
Being it beyond 17 kilometers, that is what you're saying.
It's inefficient to go 70 kilometers over when you know you're going to increase the apparent deviation.
17 or 70. What are you saying here?
If you go over 17 kilometers, it's going to increase the atmospheric refraction.
Are you saying?
Okay, so what you're saying is a measurement has never been made beyond 70 kilometers, and from this you conclude the entire Earth is flat.
Geodetic surveying isn't measurement; it's calculation.
I'm not talking about geodetic surveying. I'm talking about your claim that the Earth is measurably flat, that you've measured it, that you constantly make. I'm wondering what method that you used and you've given me sort of half a description, but you seem to be saying your method doesn't work beyond 70 kilometers.
No,
So
plane
is that
survey
what you're
data,
saying?
you take small increments and then you stitch them together. That's how you ensure accuracy. But then the globe zealots, what they do is they decrease accuracy intentionally. They increase the distance, thus the atmospheric effects. They take the average of an apparent location, how it fluctuates, and then they have the audacity to come and claim that that's the actual location. It's laughable. I gotta go though.
So
Peace.
when you say it's measurably flat and you've measured it, what you actually mean is you've taken the existing measurements and just assumed from those that it's flat.
And you know, if some reason the elevation of Mount Everest based on this exact same method must also be wrong, although it's been proven right with satellite data. So Sin Cleanser is the worst of the worst. Him and KIMO and Bev and Mabbit just hand wave without any replacement technology, mathematics, science, kit. They can't just say no, but I don't know the other answer. They have to demonstrate and find technical flaw by replacing these findings with other findings. And the South Pole exists, so they're done with shape. We're done with shape. South Pole absolutely defines the shape.
Well, Larry, I did ask you to get involved earlier. You delayed, and now obviously he's gone. You've already shown that it's just based on an assumption, so we don't have to press on with your surveying that has no nothing to back it up.
Show me where the flat Earth hurt you.
Oh, hold on! Did I just win the internet again? This is great.
You have to go. It's time.
Can everyone just
4
make
o'clock.
a note of the time, please, when I won the internet again? Thank you.
It's on the hour, so we had to go somewhere.
Yeah, he had to go.
Yeah, on the hour, he has a meeting.
Yeah, righto.
Okay, we are talking in the chat. We are talking about the place we are on is absolutely the horizontal plane. So far we know. You try to say no against it, but you can't. You can't, because
we can.
Everything point out, and every measurement point out that we are living on a horizontal plane.
No, it doesn't.
And I don't think we can live on a spinning ball in the first place.
Johnny, have you figured out how a sextant works yet for a certified sea captain?
Oh, I'm not talking about that now. I know what you're talking
He
about.
doesn't live on a ball.
I know how it's working. You don't know how it's working. I know how it's working. I know how you go out to 90 degrees and point out to some. Yeah, you can use the sun or the star or something to point out to how the reference point to.
And all the spherical trig that goes with it, right? Spherical trig.
But I'm not talking about that just now. I'm talking about the reality of the horizontal plane we have. It can't be. Oh, so
Johnny, have you ever picked up a sextant? Have you ever seen one in real life?
Make the most of Johnny. I think he might be sober.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to talk
one thing.
about.
You're
I'm
trying to
get you,
talk about.
I'm trying to get you to talk about something that you claim to have intimate knowledge with, being a certified sea captain. So, being a certified sea captain, will you please explain how to use a sextant?
Oh, not just now. I'm talking about how relevant the subject is about the horizontal plane. I'm talking about that, and then you are trying to talk about something else. In the same time, I'm talking about different things.
You cannot live on a ball when you cannot live on a ball.
Wait, so you're a sea captain that doesn't know how to navigate with a sextant?
I know how to navigate that, but first of all, I will talk about that. And we are talking about.
Okay, okay, let's start with a simple one.
No, we are talking about the horizontal plane, and everything shows we are living on a horizontal.
How do you determine your latitude in the daytime when you're navigating on the ocean with a sextant? How do you determine your latitude and longitude?
I am talking about. You have to talk about. Okay, I can talk about this after all.
Okay, you made a claim. We want to know whether you're just a lying
don't talk over me. I'm talking about all the things and try to change the.
Okay, no. One simple question. One simple question. Could you please define what is an LOP in sextant operation?
I am not talking about that. I'm talking about.
We're just trying to assess. We're trying to assess your skill with a sextant. So, what is an LOP? That is a sextant designation for part of the measurement. You're familiar,
I'm not
so you could at
talking
least
about
just define that. Just define that, and then we'll move on with the rest of it. I just want to evaluate your skill and experience with a sextant. Please tell us what is an LOP.
You have no respect for what I was talking about.
You're probably right there.
Yeah, I'm absolutely right on that. And I think you're just trying to. I don't know. You're trying to. It's something. You're trying to fool everything. It's a line. LOP is a line of position, but I will not talk about that. I'm talking about the horizontal plane.
Talking about like how you defy the laws of physics there with your globe. And how are you going to support it?
Okay, we have to understand you cannot be in a spinning ball and because if you are on a plane and flying in a different location on the plane, and if you say the atmosphere is moving with
That's miles per hour. Laugh at it, Johnny.
Oh shit! Then you have to be in a closed space. Yeah, a closed system. If you're in a closed system, then you cannot reach what's in the space. Then everything you're telling us, somebody of us, or NASA is telling us about the space is, of course, lie. And it's against the natural laws about the second law of thermology and dynamics, thermology.
Yeah, so it's not a spinning ball.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Johnny, what do you say about the surveyors, Larry here, who have measured the curvature?
Yeah, we have guys in this great scientist that has proven that how it will work, but that's not so presented. Like G.
They think they're trying to fool you when they're not. Like we're just a bunch of flat earthers.
Yeah, they are trying everything. They are trying, yes, they are trying. But they are falling. All the time they are falling. In free fall.
Interesting.
And they don't know what free fall is. They're just falling in free fall. But I know what's happening with all the molecules, all the particles they have in the fucking body that's falling. It will neutralize, and it will in the free fall. And it is about the charge. The minus charge is that they are going to from the positive charge to the negative charge, and the acceleration is because of it. it's fallen in the same rate is because of the density of the particles will neutralize in free fall. Oh, it's not from me. It's only I know it before, but they have proved it in Chicago University. Just look it up. There we have it. And
Chicago.
In Chicago.
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 Chicago. Okay. So you don't know shit about navigation with the sextant, I guess, huh? You refuse to answer any questions about it, so you apparently just don't know shit about it.
I say LEOP is the resulating line of Posehun. So I know everything about it, but I'm not talking about it. So shut up about it.
Jake's trying. He's not having it. Not having it. Carry on, Johnny. Carry on about what you were telling us.
And keep your drunken ramblings going, Johnny.
No, I'm not.
No, do you even know what he was saying?
I'm winning. I'm winning. Oh, the resulting line of Posehun is a LOP. Yes, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how
line of a popsicle.
How you can understand the horizontal line of plane and the vertical line in the sky and what's happening there. I know it can be very, very difficult to understand, but it is interesting. I promise you. Of course. That is the big question. What's happening high in the sky? Oh, is there a dome? Oh, we have a dome. Yes, we have a dome.
We have a dome.
What is the dome? Oh, the dome is of gases.
What is the distance to the dome, Johnny?
I want you to know we have a dome.
Okay, I will start to answer this question to say we have 130,000 feet to for the helium to go for the helium balloons, but the helium balloons cannot go higher because there's other densities.
Helium balloons.
Yeah. Then we have helium, we have a small place for other gases that's lighter, but
that's about 20 miles up, give or take.
But after that, everything gets denser and more denser, and it's just like a jelly. It gets more denser and cooler, and we get plasma, and we get magnetic field and gases of neon and so on. That is propagating.
Here, I got a question for you, Johnny. I got a question for you, okay?
Yeah, but
I want you to answer this question for me, okay? You're out on the ocean, and the date is September 21, and you measure the angle of the sun over the horizon at high noon.
You can't angle true angle. You can't because the sun is always.
This is how you do navigation, right? So we know that this works.
No, not. Yeah. You can do it.
But then why does it work? Why does
it's a point in the sky. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just a point. Therefore, you can do it.
Obfuscate what I want you to answer the question, okay?
It's not a reality of the sun. It's just a point.
And the sun is at high noon, and you measure the sun to be 65 degrees in angle of elevation with your sextant. What is your latitude? What is the latitude of your LOP?
Yeah, you have to triangle it. You can take it from point and to other point, and then you take it from
42
90 degrees
degrees
to the horizon, and the right up to the sun.
So wouldn't it be
or
like
the star.
42 degrees or something like that?
No,
Because you have to factor in the 23.4 degree tilt, and I think you subtract that from whatever you get for your declination of the sun, or add it or something like that.
Lemon, why do you know more about how to use the sextant than the certified sea captain?
I'm just figuring this stuff out. There's a lot of stuff that I have to learn over a flat plane, but I need to double check it. I don't even know. I think it's adding or subtracting.
I know because I use September 21st, right? The sun is over the equator, so you don't have to compensate for the Earth's tilt.
Is that survey dude here still?
So, Johnny, it doesn't sound like you know anything about navigating on the ocean.
You are trying to say something that's a fucking lie, and I was a.
How do you? Okay, well, how about this? How do you determine?
I have an electro instrument and everything, and I done my work with that.
Okay. So yeah, you don't know the most basic principle of navigating on the ocean. Your fallback instrument that every sailor knows, right?
I took my license. I did that. Yes, I did. I know. I did.
Okay. So how do you determine
everything about it?
How do you determine your meridian?
I know everything about it.
How do you determine your meridian using the sun? Johnny, how do you determine your meridian using the sun?
So fuck it. Don't try to take me down to fucking shit. That,
so you don't know? Okay, well that's all right. We all know that you don't know. We all know that you're just a bullshit,
You never
Johnny.
listen to what I'm saying. You're just talking.
I asked you a question. You won't answer it. What's wrong with you?
No. What's wrong with you?
Why can't you answer the question?
I'm just asking this question again and again. And is something wrong with you? What is the problem with you? What is the problem? What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to point out that you are an absolute bullgut liar that can't do anything that he claims to do.
He shaves his legs.
Well, the thing is, there's a difference between the competent performance of a job and the theory. That's why I don't really test people on this sort of math stuff or hold their feet to the fire. He could be a sailor who could be using computers to navigate with little to no understanding of what's supposed to be this globe theory, like with Larry GPS. Competent professional, seeing some stuff through the theodolites, but the theodolite may be presenting to him something that's off based off of a different way to look at the theory of optics over a flat plane. So we need to look at the theory, because you can competently do your job, do everything right, but still be presented something that may be off theoretically.
Look, any sailor will know how to do this because your survival is dependent on it, and you should be able to determine your position even when all your electronics fail.
Yeah.
In fact, it failed or section of the course that he apparently took.
Well, the theory needs to be tested because this is assumed on a ball. And the thing is, the error may be small enough for us to get away with it, but as you get toward Antarctica, the Antarctic ice ring, this theory is going to fall apart dramatically.
What theory?
The theory that we're on a ball,
navigational
and sailing, the angles to the sun, because we're on a ball with angles and tangents on a ball. It may be straight overhead on a flat plane, and it's circling over.
It's not. It doesn't work on celestial navigation. Doesn't work on a flat plane, Lemon.
So we need to the angles to objects of the theory for necessity.
The angles to objects don't have a linear relationship when you're looking at triangles on a flat plane.
The thing is, vision is not geometric. Not every bit of vision is conserved. We would see bacteria if every unit of vision was conserved, but we can't see them because they're beyond the diffraction limit, and our eye can't make out an image on that object at that level. So vision is not geometric. It's not.
When we measure angles on a flat plane, they correspond to a flat plane. They don't ever correspond to a spherical plane.
But parts of the image will be lost beyond the diffraction limit, and this is the part of the theory that is lost with these theodolites. with the surveying, with even with celestial navigation. What about the parts of the image that are lost beyond the diffraction limit, especially the parts that meld into the surface when you're too far over the surface over a flat plane? What about
What do you mean
that?
diffraction limit? If you can see an object, it's not over the diffraction limit, right?
But you're too close to the surface, and things do meld into the surface because of the diffraction limit as well. Being close to the wall, being close to the ceiling, it's all the same.
With celestial
that is-
navigation,
my
when
point
are
is,
you looking at something on the ground?
people don't know how the measurement is for the sextants. The global think the sextants measurement is. They don't understand. They have to take it in the mantle of the earth, in the middle of the earth, to make it the global earth of flat earth. They do that.
Cool. Hey, Lemon.
So
Johnny, you're
you
not
know,
saying anything.
it's about
Lemon.
Yes, I'm saying.
On
It's
celestial
just like a clock.
navigation-
If you have
Just keep talking right over me, Johnny.
line
That's
of
fine.
sight to somebody is sailing from the North Pole, then you have other line you with the distance between all the distance. You have to take always from the North Pole. It's
Yeah,
just
I know, it's
like a
awful,
clock.
Johnny. You got to take it. Now, Lemon.
Oh,
in celestial
so you don't
navigation,
understand what I'm
when
saying?
are
Okay,
we looking at
so you
things
don't
on the
understand. It's a
surface?
fucking
Hey, Johnny,
trick
shut up.
for the globe. You okay? Listen now. You don't understand what I'm saying.
Johnny, he was trying to talk, man.
Hello. You were saying?
Sorry, Lemon.
Yes.
When in celestial navigation are we looking at things on the surface of the Earth?
We are looking at things that are melding into the surface of the Earth because they're going too far away over a flat.
Using celestial navigation, we do that?
Eventually, it will merge into the horizon, the flat plane, because we are very
Exactly.
short beings that are way too close to the flat plane, so things will eventually merge into said plane.
Lemon Bird, exactly how far is too far?
For something to meld into the surface, we'd have to try some math. We could, I guess, roughly approximate it with, I guess, the diffraction limit, but even that math appears to be a little
Okay,
off.
so if I'm right next to a mountain and I'm driving away from that mountain, what is the distance to where the complete mountain is no longer in view?
It would be the height of the
on that
mountain
plane?
divided by the distance to the mountain, and you take the arctangent of that, roughly, even in our own globe, conception.
No,
But
I'm
we
talking
might
about the
look
flat
at even
Earth.
that math.
I'm talking in the flat Earth. How far away is too far, and
We
how
could start
far do I
from
need
there.
to get?
We
on
could
the
start
flat
from
Earth?
there. We could start from there and maintain that formula, but that formula appears to break great heights and stuff, so this stuff appears to be kind of iffy. But starting out, height of the object divided by the distance of the object, arctangent of that.
I'm right next to the object. I'm right next to
That
the
would have
object.
to equal
of the mountain.
0.02 degrees or
Let's
whatever the
say-
diffraction limit of your eye is, based off the
Wait,
wavelength of light.
wait. This mountain is, let's say, 20,000 feet from the surface that I'm in on the car, the ground, to the top of the
20,000.
mountain is 20,000. How far do I need? How far is so far that it will just meld into the earth and go away?
20,000 divided by the tangent of 0.02, roughly.
Why are
And
you
what is
giving
that
me candy?
distance?
Leo, do you have a calculator? Are you going to make me perform math now? Let me get my calculator.
Well, I've noticed that you're pretty good at math, so yeah.
I gave you the formula. You can just do it yourself. 20,000 divided by the tangent of 0.02 to get the number of feet to the distance it would.
Why are you getting the 0.02?
That's angular resolution for the average human observer.
That has
If I'm right next to the
nothing to do with
mountain,
the
how
angular
is
size.
angular resolution?
Which will begin to disappear and merge into
Wait a
the
minute.
angular resolution.
If I'm staying right next, if I'm sitting in my car right next to the mountain, what does my diffraction limit of my eye have to do with how big the mountain is, and how much of it I see? And when you have to take into account the angular size of the mountain to determine how far away you would need before it melds into the flat Earth?
Hey, Lale, Any consolation, I should be able to see the Rockies from here and like the ass end of Texas.
I got 10 miles.
I've been on top of Mount Evans, which is like 15,000 feet. And on top of Mount Evans, on a flat Earth, I should be able to see Kansas City, but nope, I cannot see it.
So, Leo, I got 10,000 miles, but the diffraction limit says eventually the object will merge into the surface. So we can get some rough mathematical predictions, but vision is not geometric, so they'd be general predictions.
Yeah, but the diffraction limit is just based on your eye, right? Not when you use an optic, you'd have to recalculate the diffraction limit.
I'm curious, how come people in Kansas City cannot see the Rocky Mountains if you have to be 10,000 feet away from it or 10,000 miles away from it before you can't see it?
Because that math formula is idealized for when the mountain is centered in your vision. That math formula, Leo, that math formula, idealized geometric formula. Idealized, but it's not. It doesn't actually match real life over the flat plane.
So what if their center of view is the center of the Rocky Mountains and they're staying at the highest point in Kansas City? Why can't they see the Rocky Mountains?
You would have to be at the height of the Rocky Mountains, however high it is, 20,000 feet. You'd have to be levitating 20,000 feet up in the air for that formula to be more valid. Since you're close to the surface, things change dramatically.
Is it 15,000?
Oh, so what you're saying is your formula to determine distance away is not valid. Perfect.
But that's the formula that we use for the diffraction limit period. But Leo, the thing is, that's the formula that we use for the diffraction limit period. It has limitations.
You just said your formula didn't work, so how far away do I need to get from the Rocky Mountains before I can't see them?
Well, this formula, Leo, is idealized for when the object is evenly distributed up and down from the level of the eyes. Effectively, Leo, this would be for an object that's 20,000 feet above the level of the eyes and 20,000 feet below the level of the eyes. But we're close to the floor. We're only 6 feet to the floor.
He's not on the floor. Hold on. Didn't you say you were 15,000 feet?
Leo said the mountain was 20,000 feet or something like that.
Right, and then he said he was on top of a 15,000 foot mountain.
Hey, ladies.
Well, you have
on top of Mount Evans, which is about 14,000 feet, and
so Leo, you're only 6 feet off of the ground, typically.
20,000 feet. He's at
20,000 feet or 15,000 feet plus 6. I'm not only 10.
Okay, so you're doing that for a 15,000 foot observer?
Yes.
15,000 is 6 foot observer.
To that number, but you have air and haze complicating things along with this diffraction limit.
So when the news says it's a perfect clear day, you're telling me there's haze.
Are you 15,000 feet above the ground and can you see the mountain?
If I'm
because real life defies mathematical description.
Did you hear what I said? If I'm standing on top of the mountain, yes, I can see the mountain, Lemon.
Lemon, how far away were you saying that a almost 4 mile tall object is supposed to merge? It's supposed to be diffracted into the surface of the Earth.
10,000 miles.
Yeah, that's what you get when you take 20,000 feet divided by the tangent of 0.02 with this generalized math formula.
Perfect. Yeah, Kansas City is only about 400 miles away from the Rocky Mountains. Why can't I see it?
Air, haze, the fact that vision is not geometric, and the diffraction limit.
You keep saying that, but according to you, the diffraction limit is well within the range.
The diffraction limit is a generalized formula. Real life is more.
You're generalized. You're off by a factor of 1,000.
Yeah, vision is not geometric. It's just general formulas. So's the globe.
It's not.
So we're trying to math the crap out of vision, but vision is not perfectly geometric anyway. These are just general guidelines.
Says who? I'm sorry. Says who?
Says math. For this math to be justified, you would need to count out the units of vision.
No. Come on, man. You're saying it's not geometric. How is it not geometric?
You'll figure it out.
Okay, so you just made it up. Gotcha.
No, I say that you ignore it. I'm not going to go in a ring around the rosy with you all the time. You refuse to think, and you refuse to think about the issue. That's not my problem.
Yes.
You've heard my answer,
I've never thought about
so
that.
you can have a nice day. But vision is not perfectly geometric because you have no units of vision to count out to make sure the geometric process is fully justified. At best, you have a couple markers. That's it.
Perfect. You said I could throw your formula away. So how far away do I need
That's
to get there?
Leo, hold on. That's the formula that we use for vision, period. We can try to apply it to a flat surface, but it may not be perfectly correct. The globe math is off. This stuff may be off as well, since you have something melding into a surface and not into its own midline.
Perfect. If it's off, how far do I need to get then?
We're going to need to explore this further.
Then
where do you
going to need to explore further?
You need to see the whole Earth.
Do you think in the 500 years since the invention of the telescope that all the great universities of all the world haven't figured out what you think still needs to be looked into?
Yeah.
That is pretty fucking lame.
You know why I justify that? Because people are blue pill. They go along to get along to protect their jobs, to protect their position, and to protect their social standing. They don't upset the apple cart, and if they're leading a nice little cushy life, they don't question anything. It's time that we question it now because NASA is asking us to spend billions and billions of dollars on their rockets, whatever the hell they're doing, and they're trying to push down our throats a fake demonic alien invasion. So now is the time when we have to test this shit.
Actually, academics compete with each other. Nothing would please an academic more than to prove another academic wrong.
They're all united.
They're not in some sort of circle jerk, all agreeing on the same lie. They're trying to prove the other one wrong.
They're all united. They're all united in this pagan globe ball construct.
And that is where you are demonstrably so far off base. You just make up.
This is the reason why I was kicked from your guys' 24/7 hour flat Earth server, is because I pointed this out. You guys are literally just like latching on to these conspiracy theories because you are the personality type of thinking everything is out to get you. Everything is subversive. Everything is trying to manipulate you in a negative light when really it's not. You have like this tendency to just believe somebody is doing something nefarious to you directly or indirectly, or to the people around you indirectly or directly, through whatever reason. Like, what reason would NASA have to lie to you? Like, I don't understand this. This is my main point when it comes to flat earthers.
This is why you went back to the globe. This is why you went back to the globe, because you're scared, and you don't want to lose your social standing by going against the globe. You didn't go to the flat Earth because of the laser tests or the long distance infrared that appear to show flat level land. You didn't have a consistent logic to explain why the horizon looked flat and level as opposed to looking like a ball. You didn't test any of that. You went back to the ball because of groupthink, consensus, and fear of going against the normie blue pill herd.
Nah, that's not the reason why I went back. We went over that in this server, but you would know that if you didn't kick me from your guys' little.
You probably got kicked because of your stubbornness and unwillingness to answer logical questions and logically follow the trail of logic to an honest answer.
Logically follow the trail of logic. Yeah, okay, buddy.
In other words,
because of your blue pill fear and your normie desire for normie acceptance and consensus, you went back to the ball when there's no proof for the ball at all.
Lemon, you just told him.
Agree with us, or we'll throw you out. Right? Isn't that the way that works?
Answer our questions and we'll throw you out on your ass. It's that simple.
You don't want any dissenting opinions over there, do you, Lemon?
I don't know. I think that anyone should be allowed to go anywhere and voice any opinion. Like, see, this is the other thing, is you think that everyone's like outcasting you because you're a flat earther, but you're not, because obviously you have an entire area where you have all kinds of people that think the same as you. No one's outcasting you from society for believing what you believe. You're still able to get a job.
A group of outcasts that have the media against them?
Yeah, but that's because you label yourself as that. You are grouping your own self into that. No one is forcing you into this like sub class of people to where you can't do anything in your life. Like nothing is impeding you from doing anything in your life because you believe in flat Earth.
Right.
If it was the case that somebody was out to get flat earthers for them believing in some sort of taboo thing, then you guys would all be in like some sort of gulag for just doing hard labor. No one is out to get you. No one is out to get you.
Anyway, this thing doesn't hinge on conspiracy. It hinges on the laser test and the infrared and the thrust of our senses. The conspiracy part is secondary and frankly irrelevant. Where are the laser tests and the straight standard to test the curvature of the Earth? It isn't there. All you have are fake stylized images from NASA. That is all. And questionable optical theory like Larry GPS and the other competent professionals are using, despite the fact that it's questionable and inconsistent to consistent.
You can't prove any of that, Lemon.
Blue, let us talk
about
the reality of the world.
Blue, Lemon, would you? I want to talk about reality.
I will talk with Blue about the reality.
For 3,000 miles from New Mexico into Colorado, and they have an average height of 13,000 feet. What is the angular size of those mountains? That mountain range, Lemonbird?
You take its height divided by the distance and take the arctangent of that, Leo. You got a calculator. Why don't you do that yourself? Quit sending me on math trips and then rejecting the math when I tell you the reason why the math doesn't work. Go figure it out yourself.
Well, you give me a math
height
formula,
of the mountain, Leo.
The
arctangent of that. You want me to walk you through it?
Perfect. You give me a formula. You tell me the formula, and then you give me a distance
height
away that
of the mountain divided by the distance equals the arctangent, the tangent of 0.02.
But then when we do this,
we'll do it together. Give me the height of the mountain, Leo. You're not going to do self-find whatever. Give me the height of the mountain. Do it together. Height of the mountain.
So how am I supposed to
height of the mountain, Leo?
Reject it. Lemonbird, you're the one rejecting it. You said 10,000 miles away, and then I said, so why can't I see it from Kansas? And then you said, well, I reject the formula. So your own formula, you're rejecting. That's not my fault.
The formula is rejectable, Leo, because that's idealized. For that formula to work, the ground couldn't be in the way. The flat ground is having an effect because it's ramping up into the image, changing the math.
Perfect. Then give me a formula that does work.
We would have to explore it yet again, Leo. I'm getting tired of your repetitive spur questions when you
you're getting tired of my
even want to wrap your mind around the fucking problem. You won't pull out the calculator and do them, and then you just reject it when I'm trying to work through it myself. That's extremely frustrating. Get a calculator and do it yourself.
You know what's funny?
Height of the object divided by the distance to the object. Take the arctangent of that. It's easy.
So, how much is it ramping? What's this rate of rampage? Just curious.
I just want to know the angular size of the mountain range of the Rocky Mountains. And he's
let's do this together, Leo. Says yet again you refuse to do the fucking work.
You're the one that brought up the distance away, and then you're rejecting your own formula, and then you're getting mad at me for your rejection.
What I want to know is, Lemon, is that flat Earth maths that you're using, or is that globe maths that you're using?
That's just perspective maths. That could work on a globe.
Right, but you said earlier that we use globe math, which I'm assuming is different to the maths that you use.
What's the angular size of the top of the mountain? Just the tip. And does the tip change in size, considering it's a point that's infinitely small? It's just a point. And if I get farther away, it remains a point. So I don't understand why angular size, which is not present in any survey book, because we measure in discrete points, like the strobe light on top of the radio tower. We don't measure the angular size of the radio tower. We just measure its elevation angle to the point. And we get farther away, that point remained the same size, infinitely small. And we lay the crosshair right on it.
But this is an idealized relationship. Points don't exist. The definition of a point from Euclid was that which has no parts. There's nothing in reality that's like that, number one. So that definition is problematic. Number two, it doesn't take into account the parts of vision that have converged, merged, and already disappeared at the diffraction limit. So the application is going to be off because it's going to demand geometric application where all of the units are conserved, when in real life vision does not work like that. Number three, you have the ground in the way. It is ramping up into the image, changing the rate. Stuff that's taller than the level of the eyes will appear to ramp down toward the horizon, dramatically breaking the rates. Probably because it is going off in the distance, looking for a better vanishing point where it can actually disappear down to a point, but you're so close to the ground, a horizon forms in the foreground, and the taller part of the image that's taller than the zone just has to set in the background. So these are idealized relationships that don't take into account what may be a flat plane.
So a star, does a star satisfy the definition of a point because it is so minuscule, not absolutely zero, but close enough to a point?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. A lit object has a corona halo of light that extends beyond the object itself. So what are you taking into account for the angular size of the object? The light halo that extends well beyond the object, or the object itself? That's why lit objects break these angular size rules, and you can see a candle for 2-3 times longer than you would if the candle wasn't even lit. So even that's complicated. We need to deal with this theory too.
You're saying you really need to think these things through, because we measure the center. If the object has a small perceptible size, you lay the crosshair in its center, and its center, it does satisfy the definition of point.
So we have to talk about the crushing of the object from all sides. Our idealized perspective is based off of a vanishing point in the center of the object and equal room from the object on all sides. That does not cover looking over a flat plane where the vanishing point appears to be at the level of the eyes, and the room up, down, left, right from the level of the eyes needs to be taken into account. When you take that into account, you have very limited crushing from the bottom up and limitless crushing from the other sides, which will crush and push the image down, making you look through the theodolite at a taller zone that appears to be way above where your level line was in the foreground, because visual information is being crushed in the background well beyond that idealized point of levelness or whatever.
Theodolite is not done for a long distance.
Well, hold on. So they have this light, which at these distances appears to be a point about the same as, say, a fourth magnitude star. And I'm at 1,960 feet. The tower is 2,351 feet. At what will cause that to be below my local eye level? What distance will cause that to be not just near the eye level, but below it?
It's not going below anything. The visual information is being dropped because you're too close to the surface. Since you're only 6 feet off of the surface, you like nice symmetrical 6-foot crushing from up, down, left, and right. That will happen until about 3 to 6 miles away, but any part of the image that is taller than 6 feet up, down, left, right will continue to crush past that nice little horizon point that you get 3 to 6 miles away around the level of the eyes. It's just the way that it is.
But I'm on a ridge looking out over a valley, so I am...
Same principle.
That's just the way it is.
Well, it's the same principle. Eventually, it will crush and merge into the horizon.
You're making up stuff that has no... You're making up stuff that
it's
has
just
no
logical.
Support.
It's logical. It will fight between disappearing into itself and, or if it's too damn big, appearing to go below the horizon in the foreground. We need new principles. The principles that you're working with are inadequate over a flat plane. I am so sorry. You are a competent professional. You know your job, but this theory needs to be questioned.
South Pole exists, dude. South Pole is a place.
Optical off of a curved glass dome. You can shine light on a curved surface, and the light will appear to take a curved streak and a curved aspect based off of the surface that it is going over.
What a fabrication, man. What a crazy fabrication.
That is real life.
Why doesn't the whole Earth stay lit up if the sun reflects off the dome, Lemon?
That's why we have sundowns and parhelions. But eventually...
You cut off, Lemon, but we've heard it before.
Test the freaking theory, for God's sake. 500 years of error-prone heliocentrism is enough.
Hey, Lemon, I have plenty of examples of testing Flat Earth claims, up to including your shiny dome. Doesn't work that way, kid.
People are finally waking up.
You're just trying to be funny. You're not real. Your question is real. You're just be funny. You're trying to get Lemon down. You're not real. You're not talking with him. You're not real. That's it.
Not even real.
Hey, Larry. Basically, Lemon is saying that all things that you see in the distance just drop down because reasons.
Bearded, you need to find out where the vanishing point is on the object. It's toward the level of the eyes.
That's not how that... You're claiming that the vanishing point is supposed to be in the middle of an object. That's not how that works. That's not
how what idealized perspective works off of.
No, it doesn't.
The truth is out. What you gonna
and
do?
I've already challenged you to draw this. It's not complicated. You won't.
Why are you defending?
The top out, the top 14,000 feet of the Rocky Mountains always stays above my eye level because I'm not 14,000 feet tall or taller. How is it that they drop below my eye level then?
I need to check your establishment of a proper eye level. I have no way to know that because you don't have a laser.
Above the surface of the Earth, will you agree that 14,000 feet is always above that 6-foot surface?
That's what we would idealize, yes.
No, that is fact.
I didn't understand that. Can you say it again?
You need to prove it with a reliable level. How did you establish a
reliable level? I already know it's fact.
Yeah, that's what the fact should cover. Yes. So let's see if you established a reliable level. How did you establish a reliable level? Did you use a laser?
Lemon, that's a red herring.
It's like fact. It's like, for example.
Yes, that's what we would expect. We need to double check that expectation versus reality.
The audience is not following. We don't understand.
It is in fact just like
what's happening.
It is brighter outside when the sun is out than when the moon is out.
Okay, so you're talking about generalized facts. Okay, I agree with you.
Okay, so the top 13,994 feet of the mountain will always be above my eye level. How does it drop below my eye level?
How did you determine it dropped below your eye level without a good level? I challenge your methodology because I don't think that you've established a proper level.
Well, you would agree that as I drive away from it, it seems to sink into the earth, right?
Yes.
Which would be the same, in other words, as dropping below eye level.
So you're assuming it's dropping because of it preserving its size when it disappears. What if it's still converging into the level of the eyes beyond where you can see it because it's the horizon in the foreground beyond which you cannot see clearly into the background? Have you thought about that, Leo?
Lemon Bird, I am using your words. You said it sinks into the ground, which is another way of saying
theory.
Which is no, I'm using your words. You said it sinks into the ground, which is the same thing as it going below eye level.
But you didn't check to see if it was going below anything. You need to see through the ground first to see if it's going below anything, Leo. You didn't do that.
Would you agree that anything underground is below my eye level?
But it's only an appearance. You didn't check the appearance by looking through the ground. And he didn't check it against a straight standard like a laser. So your speculative assumption is a little off.
How would he do that? Just curious, Lemon. How would he use a laser?
Yet again. Either it hits the hump of Earth curvature or it pokes through this non-existent hump of Earth curvature and still hits the object.
Broke through the fourth wall again.
Lemon, you already know that the lasers bend.
They don't bend 8 inches per mile squared. You're just trying to make your theory unfalsifiable versus any sort of straight standard.
It's not a theory.
It's a theory if you can't see through the ground, if you don't see left to right curvature, and if you didn't test it against a straight standard like a laser.
I'm not even talking about
what you're saying. I'm trying to falsify what you're saying, Lemon Bird. You said
you're not even thinking consistently enough for any level of falsification, Leo. I'm trying to go through the problems with your theory, and you won't even process it.
No, I'm falsifying your own statements.
You have no basis to falsify mine because you don't have a consistent theory.
Oh wow, that's not how it works, Lemon.
I don't have any theory. I'm just falsifying what you're saying.
Theory is implied, just like with Bearded, you're not slick.
Lemon,
No,
by
people think you're slick.
By objectively analyzing the claims that you make, right, which is what I've done, and it turns out that your ideas don't hold any water.
It turns out that your theoretical basis is garbage. We need to check the basis of this.
There is nothing. That's the whole point of doing it objectively. I'm not trying. At least, if anything, I'm trying to do the very thing that the flat earther did.
You have to see the whole Earth.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Do
it
you have
makes
any
a
pictures?
difference. It makes
Do you
a
have any?
difference.
Do you have any pictures of the whole Earth? If you're going to claim that it's flat, don't you have to see the whole thing?
Unless there's a firmament in the way. It's similar to the excuse that you give why we don't have a small-scale demonstration of gravity.
Wait. How is the firmament in the way of the observer inside the firmament?
We can only get so high and see so far over the flat surface.
Yeah, that's a claim. I have yet for
just like the gravity claim that we can't get a small-scale demonstration of orbits and gravity because the gravity of the Earth is so great. If you accept that level of excuse,
you're not
the excuses I just gave you, you're inconsistent.
That's not even
per usual.
Hello.
Don't even test
it. You're trying to. Sorry, there's an actual the term for the fallacy, but either way, we're talking about your claim, not somebody else's claim. I don't care.
Bearded and Lemon.
And we're talking.
Can I say something to Leo? And maybe you guys, it'll help you guys. Leo, when talking about things going under your eye level at the horizon, I think the assumption there is that the horizon is under your eye level, obviously. So you need to prove the horizon drop. That's the issue you're moving to. You don't just get to assume the horizon drop below your eye level. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Bearded.
Oh, I heard him.
You don't get to just assume something.
No, look, I mean, there's people like Zanuck loves talk about it always does drop below your eye level, like 0.04 or 0.02, all this little shit. But I'm saying that piece of information is necessary.
I like how, Bearded, I like how when I use Lemon's own words.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Leo, what do you have to think about what I said, though?
Saying I'm using a false theory. Well,
Leo,
I used his own words.
Answer what I said, Leo. Why are you assuming that the horizon is below eye level?
Why would it be above eye level?
It's at eye level. The point is, we're saying it's at eye level.
See, there you go. You're making a claim. So,
I told you, you have to see the whole Earth.
Hold up, Prest. If you're going to,
I'm not making a claim. I'm saying geometrically on a flat plane, it would be at eye level, and therefore Lemon's giving you the answer. Yeah, but I don't want to have a conversation.
Do you have evidence?
I just want to tell you that Leo is.
It would approach the eye level at
right.
I'm wondering who is muting
it
me.
wouldn't necessarily be perfectly at eye level because we look out over a flat table, and eventually it will drop below the level of the eyes if it's a limited length. And so that's not quite justified. It would approach the eye level, but not necessarily.
You're not very good at perspective, Lemon. I mean, unless you're going to sit there and say a tabletop is equivalent to the entirety of the Earth.
Bearded, I think you could probably do a scaled down version that a tabletop would be equivalent ratio-wise to 24,960 miles or whatever it is. We'll just say 25,000 miles.
It's more than, well, yeah, the diameter would be, roughly 24,420.
Don't go assuming shit again.
Some shit like that. Or it's 840, sorry. Anyway.
Let's just round it up to 25,000, make it easier. So
it does make it
easier. The desk is what ratio of that, and then you'd need something to represent a 6-foot observer standing on one side of the desk, to see if he could see the light across the desk.
Yes, you can see the light across the desk. I'll go ahead and answer that right there.
Yeah.
So, if B-Ball for Life shows perspective crushing right here, because in the foreground, your level line is preserved in high quality, but eventually everything will smash in the foreground, and stuff that's taller will continue smashing in the background beyond the horizon.
Lemon, still, well, for one, how far away is the horizon on a flat surface?
We could use similar math.
No, use the real flat Earth math. Don't give me some globe bullshit.
Well, the thing is not geometric. What I mean by that is not all units of vision are preserved for a mathematical process. Things disappear, not processed by the eye. So that makes optical geometry quite baseless.
And by the way, that's not an eyeball that took that picture. It wasn't an eyeball that he's using. So try again, this time with not an eyeball, and then tell me how far away the horizon is on a flat surface.
The same principle applies.
No, it isn't.
You're 6 feet off of the surface, so you'll get even crushing 6 feet for 6 feet up to about 3 to 6 miles away.
If you're gonna, that's a claim. How is it possible?
With average human observation, that's a practical observation.
No, it's not.
Yes,
because
it is.
Again, no, it isn't. Again,
that's a claim.
We have things called cameras.
That's a claim. Base your claim.
So you're the one making the claim, dude.
But you're making the counterclaim saying that that's not the case.
How is it only 3 miles away?
Because that's what we practically see with boats and ships and stuff.
That makes that you're just saying because
about 3 to 6 miles away, stuff begins to disappear.
According to what? Not on a flat Earth?
Practical observation.
That ain't on a flat Earth?
That would be on Earth, period.
No,
that's just a general observation, regardless of the shape of the Earth. Just a general observation. We need to see if it's a hump of Earth curvature blocking it, or the diffraction limit.
We have if you whip out a telescope, does the horizon move further back?
No, it opens up the image. A horizon still, but you see stuff pop out of the horizon that was smushed into it.
Why does
vanishing
plane?
plane?
Globe is using refraction. It's against
your logic.
Because, refraction proves the flat Earth.
Yeah. Your logic requires that if you have something with a higher resolution limit, that it would literally push back the horizon.
Yeah, a horizon would still form at the level of the optic, and stuff would pop out of it.
You're not listening. You're ignoring that completely.
I covered what you said by saying that there's a horizon that's still on the same plane and at relatively the same level.
You're saying that it so if improving the optics, in other words, accounting for diffraction, right? The thing that you say is caused by diffraction somehow doesn't change. Can you explain this?
The horizon would be pushed back with better optics, and stuff would pop out of it. That's it.
How far back?
Further. It's not an actual location, so you can't put a distance on it. You get a rough estimate.
You just gave a distance, dipshit.
I gave a tendency. I talked about the generalized principle. You tried to get a distance on it. Horizon is at a place when all it is, there's an apparent location with no physical analog.
So you're still not saying, I mean, come on. The flat Earth is supposed to be thousands upon thousands of miles across. How is it that the horizon is so close?
It's just a zone of sandwiching where the visual information is compressed and lost.
Use your brain.
It's convenient that it matches globe geometry. It's just convenient, right?
But you have a category error because you thought that this matched because it was a globe. They made the globe match observation. That's backward.
Yeah, that's
observation, and they made a globe to match what they saw. We can do that with a flat plane too if we go off of the assumption that it's flat and the diffraction limit if we wish.
See what I mean? You said diffraction limit. Again, if I use diffraction limit is based off of what? Quality of the apparatus? So if we have a better quality apparatus that can see clear further normally, then according to you, the horizon would literally go behind whatever the objects were. Not that things would just pop up out of it, but you would be able to see the actual surface.
Up to a point. But after a while, the light's just too smooth. Your optic isn't going to do that much. But you could do it up to a point.
That's a claim you have yet to demonstrate.
People have already demonstrated it by bringing boats back that supposedly went over the curve.
That didn't bring the water back. It didn't bring the horizon anywhere, did it?
The horizon got pushed back, and the boat popped out of the horizon.
No, it didn't. So zooming in is just magnification. That's it. But if you could,
and you can only magnify light that isn't smushed beyond all recognition, beyond the resolving power of the optic.
Apparently, we have some really cool optics out there that can see pretty freaking far. So why is it that anytime those are actually used, it doesn't do the thing you're claiming it should do?
It does. You just make excuses for the globe.
No, it doesn't.
So we have two different intellectual traditions developing here. We'll see which one is more.
Oh, we're gonna win.
I am curious. How does it make the thing pop up?
You're seeing light that was smushed and unresolvable come into more detail.
So which is it? Either the horizon is ramping up, and that's
you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it if I have to beat this and see.
Yeah.